Hey everyone, happy Monday and welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So, Rafa worked on the beautiful, stunning, gorgeous mouse gray 6323 window bus today. Oh, that's a mouthful. So I previously started, let me back up a little bit for those of you that may be new around here. So this bus came in fully painted and pretty much fully disassembled, with the exception of the owner had, put some handles on it, some trim and stuff like that. But we're pretty much building the bus from there. And so recently, Octavio and team, our neighbors who do most of our upholstery, they installed his seat covers, which he provided. They installed his headliner, which he provided, and his door panels, which were provided also from Clara of Bus Panel fame. And then they also did the sliding rag top and stuff like that. So we got the bus back from those guys, a couple weeks ago or so. I have recently started wiring it, so you can see some of that going on up in there. And then today, Rafa started some of the mechanical assembly on it. So he did a little bit of work on the back, so you can see the spring plates and covers are on, and of course the bushings and stuff are in there. And let's see, he also did some work up underneath the front. Not sure how much you'll be able to see here, but he installed the brake master cylinder, and the owner is actually sending an original ATE reservoir for that. So that one that's on there is just a plastic reproduction one. But so the plan is to go ahead and start putting on the hard lines, the hard brake lines. And so the master cylinder pretty much needs to go on first, because ultimately they all route back to it essentially. Let's see, what else did Rafa do up underneath here? Oh, there was, I think 4 bolts that hold the pedal cover tray. So, there's a cover that goes under kind of this area of the bus here that covers all the pedals and all that stuff. So there were 4 broken bolts up in the frame, which Rafa drilled and got out and, cleaned up the threads and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty much easier to do all that kind of stuff now than when there's, a front beam and all this stuff going every which way. So yeah, we always kind of inspect cars like this pretty early in the process and take care of any broken bolts or, threads that need chasing with a tap or whatever, because definitely easier to do now than later when everything's in the way. So yeah, he pretty much worked on those things today. I think there might have been a few other little miscellaneous things he did. Oh, I know. He also worked on the pedal assemblies some. I don't know if he's installed them. I'll look up underneath here. I don't think he's got them on yet, but he's been getting them ready to install. So yeah, just again, kind of starting the mechanical assembly of this thing here. So that's pretty exciting. And what else? So first thing this morning, Rafa, small thing, but again, needs to be done, went ahead and installed the license plate on the Blue Manx Buggy. So I need to take this thing for some test drives, especially now that it has a license plate on it. And we did, when I took it on its initial little parking lot test drive a week or so ago, it started making a noise which sounded like a throwout bearing to me. I started the car a few days later and I didn't hear the noise. So I don't know if when the throwout bearing gets warm, it starts making noise. I'm not sure. But anyway, regardless, I need to put some more miles on this thing. If the throwout bearing gets noisy again, engine will come out. Super easy on a Buggy because almost nothing's in the way. Throwout bearing will get replaced. That'll go back in. And that'll be about it for this guy. This one, we didn't really do anything today. We're still waiting on tires for it. And I need to fire up this motor and do its cam break-in. So who knows? I may do that tomorrow. But anyway, as far as what happened today, yeah, he went ahead and put the license plate on there and frame. Cool frame for it. Myers Manx. So what did I do today? Well, I worked on the bitchin' monster double cab here. And one thing that I noticed the other day, when AJ and I were playing around with the fuel injection. So if you haven't seen it yet, watch the Saturday episode that I released a few days ago, where you can hear this thing running and hear me talk about the fuel injection system and stuff like that on it. Anyway, what AJ and I noticed was that this throttle was not getting anywhere near full throttle when you would floor the gas pedal in the car. It was getting like maybe half. And I guess that this CSP linkage just seems to want a lot more travel than what the bus pedal was giving us. So that's pretty much how I spent a good portion of my day. And I did a few things to remedy that. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. But basically what I had to end up doing was, let's see if you'll be able to see this. I made a new, I don't know what you call it, a new tab basically on the throttle pedal for the, so there's this rod that goes from the pedal down under the floor to this sort of L-shaped pivot. I'll show you that in a minute. But basically, I had to move the attachment point of this push rod further that way, so that for a given amount of throttle travel, it would actually push this lever further. So normally, you can almost see the original hole is kind of back here where you can't really see it. So I moved it that way, probably a good 1/2 inch, and I also moved it that way. So you can see before it was kind of tucked up in there. So that way, and that gives us a lot more travel on that end. So I did that, and then the other thing that I had to do, because that wasn't quite enough, but that was as much as I could get out of the pedal itself. So the other thing that I had to do was up under here. Okay, sorry, bear with me a second. So this is the this sort of lever deal here that when you push on the throttle pedal, see here's the other end of that rod. So when you push on the throttle pedal, that rod pushes this sort of L-shaped deal, and it's hard to move now because the throttle is hooked up at the back of the car with a spring on it, but you can see how that moves this down, that in turn pulls the cable that way. So the other thing that I had to do to get a little bit more travel from it was this hole here that pulls on the throttle cable was initially up about right here. So basically what I did was I welded the old hole closed, and I moved the hole about as close to the edge here as I thought reasonable. So now again, for a given rotation of this lever here, this thing moves more because it's on basically a longer radius from its pivot. So you can see how that would travel further. So between that and what I did to the pedal as far as moving the mount for this thing here, that pretty much, good night, that pretty much got me all the travel that I needed, and it's going to, if not full throttle now, like 98% of full throttle. So I don't think anyone's going to miss that. But yeah, that actually kind of took a long time as far as like problem solving and mocking stuff up and trying this and trying that. But now it works because this thing is going to be super fun to drive, and of course he wants to be able to floor this thing and fill this 2110 ripping away back here. So yeah, full throttle now. Let's see what else. Had a little wiring issue with one of the tail lights. It was just always on when you would plug the battery in, which of course is not supposed to be that way. So found a wire that was on the wrong terminal on the fuse box. Not a big deal. Fix that. Let's see. Other major thing today was I went ahead and did the cam brake in, and again, this motor with this fuel injection system sounds super smooth. Love it. And maybe I'll post a short video. You guys have already heard this thing running, but maybe I'll still go ahead and post a short video of this thing running at 2100 RPMs during the cam brake in, and I kind of show what's on the display here on the handheld. So yeah, maybe I'll go ahead and throw that up too. But Yeah, I run it at 2100 RPMs for about 20 minutes to do the cam brake in. And then, of course, you let it cool off. And then from there, typically you change the oil. And then at that point, you should pretty much be ready to let her rip. So started trying to hunt down some appropriate lug nuts for this so I can get some wheels and tires on it. And it won't be too long, and this thing will be roadworthy. So pretty exciting. I think that's mainly what I did today. Just trying to keep this thing moving along here. So that should do it for today, guys. Appreciate you watching, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.